Now I would like to invite respected Dr. Swapnil Kothari, educationist, founder, chairman and managing director, Indore Indira Group of Institutions, Renaissance College of Commerce and Management from Indore, India, to address the audience. Thank you very much.
My humble pranam in lotus feet of Swamiji, honorable dignitaries on and off the dais, thinkers from all around the globe, seekers from all around the world, and my dear brothers and sisters. Few years back, my friend faced a similar situation. He had to speak on a very difficult topic in a conference, and he was not prepared. Since he was traveling extensively, he was not prepared, and the conference day came. He walked slowly on stage and he carried his mobile phone. He started in a very nervous manner, but then he ended up giving a very good speech. During his entire speech, he was looking at his mobile phone. So once his speech was over, somebody asked him, "Sir, would you mind telling us whose photograph is there on your mobile phone? Because you started in a very nervous manner, but then you ended up giving a very good speech. So we are sure that some interest in some inspiring photograph is there on your mobile phone. Please share it with us whose photograph is there on your mobile phone." "Sir, is it Angelina Jolie's photograph?" So my friend smiled and answered, "I'm sorry, it's not Angelina Jolie's photograph. It's my wife's photograph. And she inspires me in a very different manner. She inspires me, but she inspires me in a very different manner. Actually, I was not prepared to speak on this topic and I landed in difficulty. And whenever in my life I face a problem, whenever in my life I face a barrier, whenever in my life I face a hindrance, whenever in my life I face a major problem, I look at my wife's photograph and I thought to myself, if I can handle this, स्वामी जी इतना serious conference नहीं होना चाहिए ना, so I started in a different manner. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not prepared and nobody's photograph is there on my mobile phone. I have actually brought my wife at Vienna. She's sitting down there at Vienna International Center. When I received invitation from Madhavanand World Peace Council to speak on spiritualism and inner peace, I was hesitant because I'm too young to speak on spiritualism and inner peace. And I haven't done any PhD on spiritualism and inner peace. I haven't done any research on spiritualism and inner peace. I haven't done any thesis on spiritualism and inner peace. I thought, should I speak on spiritualism? But then I took this challenge because of n number of reasons. Believe me, I haven't read any book on spiritualism till date. But when I was young, I had observed my grandmother very closely. My grandmother was not well for a number of years. She was ill for a number of years. She was in bed for a number of years. But she was peaceful. She lived peacefully and she died peacefully. I had learned tolerance from my grandmother. Believe me, I haven't read any book on spiritualism till date, but I have observed my mom very closely. My mom has got no ambitions of her own. Her happiness is linked with happiness of all family members. And I have learned selflessness from my mom. Believe me, I haven't read any book on spiritualism till date, but I have observed my dad very closely. One of close friends of my dad ditched him in business, and we were left with nothing. But my dad moved on with no grudges. And for the first time in my life, I understood what is forgiveness. Believe me, I haven't read any book on spiritualism till date, but I have studied from a very good school. My school, Sri Satya Sai Vidya Vihar, has taught me science of prayer. And lesson was simple. Whenever you want to pray, never pray for things and events. Pray for wisdom and pray for courage. I started my career as a teacher. And before starting this career, I did my education from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and my institute taught me truthfulness and integrity. Truth has ability of holding it together, and falsehood has weakness of getting split up. And then I started teaching. Until date, I have taught around 20,000 students, and all 20,000 students have one thing in common. I can see hope in their eyes. And I understood for the first time in my life that world is not governed by greed and fear. World is governed by hope. And then I got married to my wife, who taught me a very important lesson. Accept things which you cannot change. Acceptance. We are from India. We are brought up with stories of Mahatma Gandhi, and all lessons have one thing in common: purity of means. We are Hindus. We have Srimad Bhagavad Gita kept at our residence. And one chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna preaches Karma Yoga. And what is Karma Yoga? Whatever you do comes back. So we are Indians. Our understanding of spiritualism has its source in lessons of tolerance, lessons of love, lessons of acceptance, lessons of selflessness, lessons of forgiveness. Our understanding of spiritualism is inspired by Gandhi ji, Vivekananda ji, Ramakrishna Paramhans, Kabir, Tulsidas, Lord Krishna, Lord Rama. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't read any book on spiritualism till date, but I took this challenge because I'm a proud Indian. And we Indians have spirituality in our soil, in our genetic code, and in our air. So I have divided my speech in 3 or 4 parts, and every part answers a question. So first question is, who is spiritual? It's a very important question. Who is spiritual? Back in India, we had a family function, and friends came from all around the world. Relatives came from all around the world. And a very interesting discussion was going on. Discussion was actually going on God. And it got very interesting. Few women came up with an interesting theory that God was not male. They came up with a very interesting theory. They were feminist kind of women, but they came up with a very interesting theory that God was not male. Naturally, men responded, and men came up with a theory that God was not female. My cousin brother did his entire education from United States of America, and he's a big United States fan. So he came up with a theory that God was not black. And my uncle is settled in Africa since last 20 years. So he came up with a theory that God was not white. A 9-year boy was sitting in that discussion. So I went to him and I asked him, champion, do you have to say something? He said, Swapnil Bhaiya, please don't drag me into discussion. I am 100% clear. I said, you're clear? I mean, confusion is prevailing everywhere. Somebody is saying God was not male, God was not female, God was not black, God was not white. And you are absolutely clear? He said, I have understood everything. God was not male, God was not female, God was not black, God was not white. That means God was Michael Jackson. Now that's the problem with people who are pretty sure about what they don't know. In Czech Republic, I met an atheist, and he said that I have a strong belief that God doesn't exist. God doesn't exist, but I am spiritual. And I met a theist. He said that I have got a strong belief that God exists. And since I am a theist, I am a religious person, I have fundamental right to claim myself as a spiritual person. So who is spiritual? An atheist is a spiritual person, or a theist is a spiritual person? Believe me, both of them are not spiritual persons. And there's an interesting similarity between atheist and theist. Both of them are pretty sure about, both of them have strong beliefs about what they don't know. A spiritual person has to be honest enough to admit that I don't know. And if you are pretty sure about what you don't know, that simply means that you're confused. Only a seeker can be a spiritual person. Only a rationalist seeker can be a spiritual person. You have to be honest enough to admit that I don't know. And that simply means you have to be a rationalist seeker if you want to become a spiritual person. Now, second question. What is spiritualism? What is spiritualism? We need to understand this. There are 4 basic realities of life: body, mind, emotions, and energy. Body, mind, emotions, and energy. The entire problem which humanity is facing because of non-alignment of body, mind, emotions, and energy. Moment we align our body, mind, emotions, and energy, all problems would vanish. And once you cultivate your body, mind, emotions, and energy in a very committed atmosphere, maybe in presence of a guru, then something else springs up from inside, and that something else is spiritualism. I mean, once you align your body, mind, emotions, and energy, once you become spiritual, you become more available to all processes of life. Once you align your body, mind, emotions, and energies, once you become spiritual, you become equally conscious, indiscriminately concerned regarding all aspects of life. You're equally concerned regarding your business, you're equally concerned regarding your body, you're equally concerned regarding environment, you're equally concerned regarding society, you're equally concerned regarding every aspect of life. Once your body, mind, emotions, and energies get aligned, once you become spiritual, you live more in present, less in past, and less in future. And this enhances qualitative aspect of your decision making, qualitative aspects of your action. And once you align your body, mind, emotions, and energies, once you become spiritual, you become more awakened, you become more enlightened, you become more clear, and finally you become more fearless. That's meaning of being spiritual. You become more fearless. And the second last part of my discussion, can we locate spirituality? Or can we measure spiritual progress? Now, I have an interesting story to tell. A father had two mischievous sons. They were very mischievous. An entire neighborhood got irritated with them. They came to father and complained about mischievous sons. Father was helpless. Reproduction is so easy, but parenting is so difficult. We never raise our children properly. We have magnificent ideas regarding parenting. So father wanted to fix this problem since his sons were mischievous. So father went to a priest and shared everything with him. Priest said that, don't worry, you send your younger son to me. I'll convince your younger son that God resides here. God resides in us. And if he understands that God resides in us, he will be a disciplined boy. He'll stop all the mischiefs. So father said, that's a great idea. I'll send my younger son to you. So father sent his younger son to priest. Priest asked the younger son to sit in front of him. Son sat on a chair. Priest asked him, where is God? Oh, he was a 9 years old mischievous boy. He said, I don't know. Priest asked in a louder voice, where is God? Oh, this guy just jumped his shoulders and said, I don't know. Priest went to him, and with a pointed finger, he touched his chest. He actually wanted to give him a hint. Where is God? So that the boy says, it's here. So priest went to him with a pointed finger, touched his chest. Where is God? Where is God? And younger son, immediately he ran away. He went to the elder brother. Elder brother asked him, what happened? Why are you so disturbed? You went to a priest. What happened? So younger son replied, it seems they have lost their God. And they think we have done it. Now, any attempt to locate spirituality, divinity, and God would go futile. Because spirituality, divinity, and God are formless. How can you locate something which is formless? And if you are so desperate to search for divinity, so desperate to travel for divinity, start your inner journey. Start your inner journey. Moment you progress in your inner journey, you'll become more joyful and you'll become more available to all processes of life. That's the only way to measure your spiritual progress. That's the only way to measure your spiritual progress. And believe me, you cannot measure spirituality. Can you measure fragrance? You can just feel fragrance. Can you measure happiness? You can just feel happiness. Can you measure grace? You cannot measure grace. You can just feel grace. And the last part of my discussion, inner peace versus stress. Now, every month I receive an invitation to speak on stress management. How to manage stress? I have a lot of students that come to me and ask, so how can we manage stress? Now, I find it very, very funny. What do you manage? You manage things which are precious to you. You manage your wealth. You manage your health. You manage your relationships. Why would you want to manage your stress? When you say that I want to manage stress, it simply means you have concluded that stress is an inevitable part of your life. Stress is not an inevitable part of your life. What is stress? Stress is your own inability to manage your own internal system. I mean, you don't know how to manage your body, you don't know how to manage your mind, you don't know how to manage your emotions, and you don't know how to manage your energy. You function by accident and you complain about stress. Stress is your own inability to manage your own internal system. Is stress related to environment? A guy who's working in Prime Minister's office is suffering from stress. A guy who's working in Home Minister's office is suffering from stress. A guy who's working in Coca-Cola is suffering from stress. A guy who's working in Samsung is suffering from stress. And a guy who is jobless is equally suffering from stress. So would changing jobs reduce stress? No. Would changing life partners reduce stress? No. Stress is your own inability to manage your own internal system. We need to understand this, that essentially the quality of our life depends on context of life, not contents of life. There are two different concepts, contents of life and context of life. Essentially, quality of our life depends on context of life and not contents of life. 3 people were trying to carve out something from stone. Somebody was passing from there. He asked first person, "What are you doing?" Now this person replied, "Are you blind? Don't you see what am I doing?" He asked second person, "What are you doing?" He said, "I have to fill my stomach. So I'm doing what my boss asks me to do." He asked similar question to the third person, "What are you doing?" And third person silently with a smile replied, "I'm trying to make a statue from this stone." All 3 of them are doing similar work. All 3 of them are having same content of life, but what is different? Context of life is different. So if we want to be happy, we have to change context of our life. If we change context of our life, automatically inner peace would generate and it would prevail. So I'll conclude. First, who is spiritual? A seeker is spiritual. A rationalist seeker is spiritual. Second, can you locate spirituality? You cannot locate spirituality, divinity, and God. Moment you start your inner journey, you become more joyful. Last, inner peace. If you change context of your life, automatically inner peace will prevail. And what is spiritualism? When you cultivate your body, mind, emotions, and energy in a committed atmosphere in presence of a guru, something else springs up from inside, and that something else is spiritualism. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you very much, respected Dr.